goal is to recruit and fill positions. You're saying that, what was that last thing you just said?
Well, that below, that's what I'm talking about, the reserve.
No, okay, so with all of that, then we put ourselves at 50 days of operation, or we take away 50 days of operation?
No, you'll have about 50 days.
We'll have about 50 days.
What's our ordinance?
We're supposed to be 90. It's our own policy. It's not saying it has to be.
So what are we right now? I mean, how many days of operation?
57, 58.
57 or 58.
Lose 7.
We're close to 60 days.
And then, of course, it affects each future year because that lowers your base for the 3%. So basically, what we'd be talking about doing is the city's incurring inflation just like all of us are of some 7 or 8%. This formula allows us to bring in 3% more than last year. So the rate that's been published is basically 3% more. And we're saying, even though we're incurring 8%, we don't need that 3%, we need 2% or whatever it works out to be. Which just doesn't make sense to me.
With the .75, we actually have a functioning budget in the black within 2 years. That's what I keep seeing. And then I guess the way I think about it, so I'm asking y'all this, after we get in the black, I mean, revenues are what start building everything up, correctly? I mean, in all areas. So I don't understand staying in the red as much for 4 years when it's a difference of $30 to $50. The estimating I did at the high end, which was for me and my home, was a difference of $45. And when you go even low, and so I go around, and I agree, man, if there's ever a year I would like to not have any taxes, period, but that's just not the case. We have taxes. And so when I talk to people, and I'm like, well, taxes are going up anyway, and I explain to them, it's a matter of us getting in the black in 2 years and recouping and getting things done, which things may have to be put off. A new community center, all these wants may have to be put off for 2 years. But when I explain to them the budget, then they're like, well, I mean, $30, $50 is nothing, you know? And I think they're willing to do that if it's explained. And I kind of feel like if I can manage to explain it, anybody can. but I mean, idealistically, I wish we didn't have to raise taxes at all, but we do. And so when we're considering such a small amount in the overall big picture, it gets us to the black, and then we're finally in a position that we can start doing things we want without taking from here and taking from here and hoping that things, you know, money comes our way. To me, that's fiscally smart. You know, not desirable, but smart.
I could say that just so it's laid out like it really is. The average home in River Oaks is $154,231, and at the old rate would have been $1,111.81. That's including your debt rate, and in comparison, that this year it'd go up to $1,163.16, which is about $51 more.
And I guess breaking that down even more, it's like $3 to $5 a month. And when I sit here and think about the budget we approved last week, it was extremely necessary, and we all agreed upon that. And we even said, you know, if we're going to pass this budget, we know what's coming next. But to me, the quality of life, knowing I have an appealing police department with appealing pay to do some recruiting and all of this, it's worth the $3 to $5 a month that I'm going to spend.
I agree. I like the...
And again, it's not desirable.
It's not, but we have to look at the big picture, and I've always said that. So I like the fact that in 2 years we'll be in the black. Yes, we're going to have to postpone a lot of things that we want to do, and it is what it is. But
what about filling those 4 positions, Marvin? If y'all don't know, we've lost a code officer too.
You know, we've lost a code officer.
So that's 4 positions.
With the different pay, actually something happened last week. Deputy Chief don't care if I say it. There's a deal in the military where, you may can explain it better than I can, if you want to, but there's a deal in the military where these guys less than a year before they're through, and they're sending them into police academy at their expense. And I believe the chief told me we already had one of those candidates that was interested in coming to River Oaks.
Yes, sir, the Army specifically has a transition program when they're 180 days close to the end of their enlistment. The Army will actually let them conduct basically an internship unpaid. They'll attach it to us. They'll still be in the military, but...
You just said one of my favorite words.
With the intent that we sponsor them to the academy, we'll put our name on them, and if everything works out, then they graduate and they come to work for us.
That's great.
So
How long does it take them to graduate?
the academy right now, basically, I think it's 17 or 18 weeks, so it's well within that 180 days. So we're hoping to get a couple months of fetch them, work out of them before they go. That way we can kind of vet them, see what their work ethic is.
So you'd be looking, before you could be fully staffed, you'd be looking at least 6 months, at least.
So even if...
Well, for that program, I mean, we're getting the pay up somewhere else too, so.
So basically, just a bare bones applicant with experience, the best you can do is 30 days. So from the time they turn in their paperwork to the time we do their backgrounds, they have their psychological, their physical, they give their 2 weeks, 30 days. Somebody else with no experience in the academy, you're looking 6 to 8 months. It's not a quick process, especially with the vetting.
Sounds like a good process.
Dan, how long was the academy when you went through?
5 minutes.
7 weeks.
How long?
7 weeks.
When I went through in '04, it was 17 weeks.
But if we do some of these interns and we actually get an applicant come along, we can still
Correct.
fill the position
We can still
and
backfill.
continue on with the internship. So, well, this is a different conversation, never mind.
But it affects the budget. That's a different conversation. It affects.
Well, yes, I was just gonna ask about recruiting efforts, that's a different conversation, but,
I think we talked about this quite a bit last week as part of the budget discussion and in some of our discussions before, so is anybody ready to make a motion?
I make motion to adopt ordinance 1358, 2022, fixing and levying municipal ad valorem taxes on all taxable property within the corporate limits of the city of River Oaks, Texas, for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2022, and ending September 30, 2023, at the rate of .754168 per $100.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 1358-2022, setting the tax rate at 0.754168 per $100. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed?
Denied.
Motion passes 4-1 with, is this the one we have to do the record vote? So do we have to do a record vote on this, or is just what we did right now?
I think what you did right now is what we do on the tax.
That's all we did, okay.
And we know who voted yea.
Right, that's in the minutes, okay. All right, now we will move on to item number 9, which is to consider and adopt ordinance 1359-2022, authorizing the issuance and sale of City of River Oaks, Texas Tax Note Series 2022, levying an annual ad valorem tax and providing for the payment of said note, providing the effective date, and enacting other provisions related to the subject. Martin, is this your credit?
Oh, this is great.
Take it away, Greg.
Well, you know all about Craig. Mayor, members of the council, staff, guests, I'm Craig Cunningham. I've served financial advisor to the city probably since 2010 now, I think. And so I'm here to go over the sale of the